Hello, third grade. I'm Miss Troutman, and this week I get to teach you math. So the last 2 weeks I was with writing, but now we get to mix it up a little bit and I get to teach some math to you all. So this week we're going to be talking about measurement, and every day we're going to practice a new kind of measurement. So our goal for the week is I can use inch, foot, and mile as units of measurement for length, and I can estimate and measure given lengths in inches, halves, and fourths of an inch. So today is Monday, May 4th, and here's what we're going to be working on today. And then, as always, you have the workbook pages you can look at for extra reference, and then your practice pages. And then Tuesday, you'll be doing more addition and subtraction with regrouping. So continue with that. I know you're starting to become experts at that. And then Wednesday, we're going to be looking at measurement again. And so I will be giving you practice pages, and I'll be posting another lesson on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we'll be doing word problems. And you've done a lot of those, so it's the same routine as before. And then Friday, I can use inch, foot, and mile as units of measurement for length. Same goals from Monday and Wednesday. And we have more workbook pages for you to look at if you would like to, and some more practice pages. So we'll be looking at different units every day. So today, back up to Monday, we will be looking at inches. So I'm going to take us to our slides so we can get started here. So today is measuring length, day 1. And here's our goal again down here. We can use inch, foot, yard, and mile as units of measurement for lengths. We can estimate and measure given lengths in inches, in halves, and in fourths of an inch. So we are going to review some vocabulary before we get started here, just to refresh our brains from what you maybe already know. So an inch is a customary unit for measuring short lengths. And on a ruler or on a yardstick or something that has inches, some measuring tape maybe, you have this would be 0, this first long mark, and then your first mark that has a number is 1 inch, and then it continues so on, 2, 3, 4. And the halfway mark between 2 inch marks is half of an inch. So here is 1 inch. This halfway mark is 1.5 inches, and then you go another half, and 2 halves equal 1 whole. So now we're at another whole number 2. And quarter inch, 1/4 of an inch. So between this 0 inch mark and this 1 inch mark, we're going to be looking for 1/4 of an inch. So we jump here, this is 1/4. This line is not quite as long as the half inch line, but it is longer than these other ones. So this is 1/4, and then 3/4 inches, 3/4. So let's see, I'm going to jump back up to this ruler here. I have my 1/4 here. My 2/4 is also what? 1/2. So here's my 2/4 mark, my 1/2 mark. And then I jump here. This is my 3/4 mark. And then I have one more jump, and that's 4/4, which is also 1 whole. So that brings us to 1. So you want to look for these longer lines when you're looking for fourths or quarters. Okay, so our first thing that we're going to be looking at today is estimating and measuring length to the nearest inch. So here is a picture of an eraser, and notice we lined it up right to the 0 like we all know how we're supposed to. And then here's our 1 inch. It's not really to the 1 inch, it's kind of past that. And here's our 2 inch. So I'm asking you to measure it to the nearest inch. So it's not quite at 2 and it's not at 1. So I'm going to think about which inch is it closer to, because I'm asking for the nearest inch, so I don't want you to count these in between lines and give me that, I want you to tell me an inch and say it is about how many inches. So because it is closer to this 2-inch mark, I'm going to say this eraser is about 2 inches. And if it was closer to the 1-inch mark, then I would say it's closer to 1 inch. But because it's at this line here, which is only one little jump away from 2, it's safe to say 2 inches. Here's another example, a key we have, also lined up at the 0, which we always make sure we have. And here's the 1-inch mark, here's the 2-inch mark. Again, it's not right at either one, but which one is it closer to? This one, I'm going to look at this halfway point. This halfway point is going to be helpful for me in telling which inch is it closer to. So it's not at the halfway point yet, and it's not past the halfway point. So that means it's closer to 1 inch. So if it is between the 1 inch and the halfway point, it's closer to 1. If it is at the halfway point or to the next number, then it's this number, so it would be 2. But because it is between the 1 and the half mark, it's going to be closer to 1. So I would say this key is about 1 inch long. And we have one more, a glue stick, and this one, oh boy, it's right at the half mark, in between 4 and 5 inches. So remember with what I said with the key, the half mark is really going to help us know if it's closer to the lower number or to the higher number. And because it's right at the halfway point, I'm going to round up and say it's about 5 inches. So because it's at my halfway, it's about 5 inches long. And here's some prompts. You can think about what can you say about the length of the glue stick. It wasn't closer to 4 or 5, it was right in the middle. And because it is exactly 4.5, we're rounding up and saying that the length of the glue stick is about 5 inches long. So now we're going to estimate and measure length to the nearest ½ inch. So here is a picture of the top of a pencil, and 0 inches is here lined up right with the pencil, and here's 1 inch. So it's not in between the half and the lower number, it's in between the half and the higher number. But now I'm measuring to the nearest ½ inch, and it's really close to this ½ inch mark. It's not past the 1 inch or to the 1 inch. It's closer to the half. So I'm going to say this pencil is a ½ inch wide. Now here's how long it is. Here's our 4-inch mark and our 5-inch mark, and this goes right up here. It's not closer to our whole number, it is closer to the half here. So I'm going to say this pencil is 4.5 inches long. And here continued, we're going to do one more example with the ½ inch. So this says Gita has a ribbon. She wants to measure the length of her ribbon. What is the length of her ribbon measured to the nearest ½ inch? So here's my ribbon. It goes up right here, really close to the 4. That tells me it's 4 inches, about 4 inches. And we can say that even though we're measuring to the nearest ½ inch, because when we do halves, we start here 0, here's 1/2, here's another half, and that's at 1. Here's 1/2, here's another half at 2, 1/2, another half. So you can always say either a half or a whole number when we're measuring to the nearest ½ inch. Okay, and now we are estimating and measuring length to the nearest ½ inch. Had to move my video to see that one. So this one gets a little bit trickier. So in an inch, there are 8 divisions. So if we count these lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 divisions. The 4th division mark is the 1/2 inch mark. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this line is our half point. The 2nd division mark is between 0 and 1/2 inch mark is the 1/4. That was kind of a lot of words. So I'm going to read that again. The 2nd division marking, 1, 2, so this one is between 0 and 1/2. So here's my half and here's my 0. And this is my 2nd. It's right in the middle of that. And that's my 1/4 or my 1/4 mark. Right here is 1/4. Which division is the 3/4 mark at? When I talked about fourths or quarters in the very beginning with the vocabulary, I counted, here's 1/4, and I know that there's one of these little lines. Here's another 4th because there's another one little line, so we jump here. So this is 2/4, another little line, 3/4. Here is my 3/4, and then another little line, and then 4/4. So my quarters are these markings here. It splits the inch up into 4 parts. So here's an example. What is the length of the key? So here we line it up with our 0. It goes all the way to 1 and a little past. And I'm going to the nearest 1/4 inch. So I want to think here's my 1. And then I have a little line. And perfect. 1/4 right there. So the length of the key is 1 1/4 inch. Great job. That is the end of the slideshow that I have for you. And so I'm just going to show you now your assignment for today. This is what your workbook pages look like on Clever. And this page, the first page, 4 through 6, you're going to be doing inches or 1/2 inches. So think about what makes more sense with where the end of the ribbon is lining up, and write that down. And then the second page, notice it says measure each ribbon to the nearest 1/4 inch. So you're going to be practicing with quarters. So remember that 1, 2, 3, 4, and say it's about how many quarters. So remember, we're not looking for an exact measurement, we're estimating. We're giving an educated guess about what the measurement is. We're saying it's really close to 5, so it's about 5, or it's really close to 4 3/4, so it is about 4 3/4 or 3/4. So that is what you're doing for the second page. And then you can submit that to your teachers. And tomorrow, remember, you'll be doing the adding and subtracting with and without regrouping. So I will see you again on Wednesday, and I hope you have a fantastic Monday and a good Tuesday. Bye, third graders.